On the telephone line right now is LP, a great artist, a wonderful artist, very prolific, very busy, and you're going to wind up your tour in New York tomorrow night, the end of the tour. You're in, what is it, D.C. tonight?
I'm in D.C., yeah.
Yeah. How's it been so far?
It's been amazing, man.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's been incredible.
Well, your new album is really incredible. You brought in a lot of different people, and I mean, really sort of different, totally different types of music, and you made it work.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, everyone that's on the record is someone who's sort of, just been my friend and who I've gotten to know over the years, and it just kind of all happened organically. Just sort of people around me who just sort of drop in and say hi, and they end up sort of, playing stuff on my record, and I'm pretty excited about the way it came out. I think it could have been a disaster, but I think I averted disaster.
So you're happy with it? If you went back, if someone said go back, you can change it, you wouldn't change a thing?
I wouldn't say that. I'm sure that within a year there will be something that I can't stand on the record. And that's usually how it happens. But for now, I feel good about it. I mean, I put everything I had into it, and I stand behind it.
Well, my favorite song on there, I mean, I like it all, but my favorite is Up All Night. I just love that song.
Thank you, sir.
I love it. We met many years ago, and I remember at the time I was on Houston Street. We were hanging out, and I had a joint. I was like, oh, let's smoke this. And you said, no, no, no. I said, why not? You said, well, you haven't been in New York in a while. I said, no. And you said, Giuliani. And that's sort of the topic of today. How do you think it's gotten in New York with the police over time? Has it gotten worse, better, or what?
Well, I mean, obviously there's been a shift. I mean, I would say that the Giuliani era was the most insane era, but, I mean, it's kind of shifted for the worse, man, to be honest. I think that if you're aware of what's going on in the street between the cops and the cats in the street, it's the most tense it's ever been in a long time. And, this city has taken a turn for the militaristic to a degree, Giuliani came in and he kind of made every problem kind of disappear, magically by putting everyone he could in jail. And I think that it's just I think it's pretty obvious that things have taken on a different tone in this city. The spirit has changed, especially after 9/11, and I think it's weird. It's an odd city now. It's definitely not the city that I grew up in, but it's a different
and Brooklyn in terms of just sort of like gentrification, Brooklyn has changed so much.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, definitely.
A lot of people say that that's killing the art because when it gets expensive, artists can't afford to live. What do you think?
Well, what I think is this. What I think is that artists will do whatever they have to do. They will move wherever they can, and then that place will get gentrified in 10 years because all the artists are there. So
yeah. Well, you did a lot of interviews for the release of your latest album, and there was one of them. I read a ton of them, but there was one I was reading, and you were talking about how it's sort of like you consider you're sort of like the tortured artist in terms of drawn to sort of addictive extremes. Is that true?
Yeah, I would say if I had to be honest, yeah, I do have that aspect of my personality. It's something that I fight with, and something that at best has made me really obsessive about and driven about doing music, and at worst has been close to being my downfall, personally. So yeah.
I think that's true of so many great artists, though, right?
I think so. I think it's a cliche for a reason. I think that we kind of got a lot of artists kind of have their antennas sort of stuck up a little bit higher in the air. Maybe we're a little bit more sensitive to all the weirdness that's going on around us, and it can be, pretty overwhelming. And, a lot of musicians have the type of personality where they need to mute voices in their head and emotions. And drugs are an easy way to do that. Alcohol is an easy way to do that, and I think that, everyone has to kind of figure out their own path. I know for me, I've got some natural demons in myself that I'm constantly struggling with, and I don't think that'll ever be a battle that I won't be fighting,
Yeah. Well, I'm sure after this tour you're going to take a break, or are you going to be going off to Europe? You're going to have a week to relax at somewhere?
Hopefully I'll have a week to relax and just sit around and cry a little bit or something.
Yeah. You can cry. You can cry right now if you want.
That would be great. I just don't feel like I have the time.
Okay.
I'm really going for a long cry.
Yeah. Well, after tomorrow's show,
yeah.
I wanted to ask you. you know, you've been doing this for a long time. I mean, really, you're sort of pioneering with setting up the label Def Jux and sort of the independent school, like showing that independent hip-hop could be successful. How do you think it is now? How is it for you now in this digital age?
I think it's great right now. I think it's better than it ever has been in some ways, because people are coming to the music that they feel means something right now. I think that there's been a huge separation between the mainstream and the general feeling of what's going on in people's minds and hearts right now. And people like us are still seem to be tapping into that, you know. And I think people are still seeking out really well-made records and beautiful packaging, and you know. And for me, I never looked at the digital age as the enemy. I looked at it as an ally, and I want to be a part of it. You know, I want to help. I want to be a part of the culture. I want to be a part of one of the people that helps to direct it and figure out how the fans and the musicians can still be fans and musicians. You know, there's only one constant in the whole thing, and that is that people love good music, and musicians love making it. And you know, everything else I'm content to figure out afterwards. You know, I'm not really worried about it. I certainly don't agree with the recording industry and the tactics that they've employed to try and get a whole grip on it. I think that they're basically thugs, and that they're completely disconnected from their audience and from the people that are the people that are supporting them. And I don't look at it like that. I look at it like there's the reason why the upper echelon of the industry has been failing is because they've been churning out completely worthless music for a long time now. It's not working anymore.
Yeah.
And people don't want to. Kids are too smart now. They're too smart to be fooled into buying a whole album when they can get it when it's crappy, when they can get it for free. You know, and beyond that, people want to connect with you on a bigger level than that. They don't want to feel like they're being advertised to, and they want to feel like they're being tricked. And musicians on the independent scene who have been doing grassroots promotion and have been connecting with their audiences for years now and have been making records outside of the pantheon of pop music and have actually been, really putting their hearts into their records are finding that they're actually okay. You know, we're looking around and being like, you know what, we're actually selling records, and that's very promising to me because it means that there's something deeper going on than just this sort of blanket market drop. It's not about that. If anything, I think it's a shift. You know, people are tired of the bull, basically.
Now, you're a great producer, and you've done a lot of different styles, like we're hearing in the background. I mean, you've done so many different things. What sort of equipment do you use nowadays for producing music?
Oh, man, I've got a whole bag of tricks, but, essentially I'm still using the same archaic sampler that I was using in 1991. And,
really?
And of course that's been added to, and I've got I'm a gearhead, I love, music. I spend the majority of my money on my studio, and so I've got a whole bunch of things, but to me it's just a toolbox. Honestly, I feel like if you gave me like, a piece of string and a piece of wood and a bucket, I could probably, come up with something.
Yeah.
Just out of necessity, and that's I think that's like a hip hop thing. We basically we learn how to make music off of looping cassette tapes.
Well, I want to thank you very much for calling in, but I got a couple of last questions before you go. First up, any artist that you are really excited about, that you're working with, or that you just heard recently that you think we should know about?
Yeah, I'm really excited about A$AP Rock's new record.
Okay.
And I'm really excited about Rob Sonic, whose new record, Sabotage Gigante, is just incredible.
And the other thing I wanted to ask you is, tomorrow in New York, it's Bowery Ballroom, right?
It's Irving Plaza.
Or Irving Plaza, rather, excuse me. Anything special planned since it is New York and since it is the last date of the tour?
Basically, we're just going to lose our minds.
Good.
That's the special part, yeah.
Okay.
We're just incredibly excited about coming through. I would say to anybody who can hear this now, get your ticket now because it's selling out really fast. And yeah, man, we're just so amped to be back in New York tomorrow. Like it's ridiculous. We're very excited.
Okay. Well, LP, I want to thank you so much. You were actually on with Noah not too long ago here in WFMU at the beginning of the tour. I want to thank you for coming on again. Really appreciate it, and we'll see you tomorrow night at Irving Plaza. LP?
All right, man.
Peace. Bye.
Thank you.